good too that we can just like hang out and talk a little first, because sometimes the live stream it's live, but when it uploads, it kind of like cuts into it.
Oh,
like a minute. I can't tell exactly, even 30 seconds.
Okay.
But just to keep in mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. How is everybody today? I don't know about you guys, but it's cold out here in New York City, isn't it?
So cold.
It is like
I don't like it.
Freaking cold.
Yeah, fucking cold.
We were lucky this winter so far.
It's been mild.
Yeah. So we can't really complain. Although
we're
it's
complaining
really cold today. It's not a good hair day either.
Your hair is good, but for your hair, right. Windy, cold.
But it's windy, right? How about you guys and where you're at? We know that we have beautiful viewers from all over the world, right? So we're hoping that you're having a warmer day today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even if it has to come from here,
from the heart, right?
Yeah. I've actually been trying to trick myself into like stop saying things like I'm freezing, because that's me. Like if I go outside, if I'm even slightly uncomfortable for a little while, like I'm freezing, I'm starving, and it's like instead I start to say like I start picturing whatever I'm gonna eat. Like I'm gonna eat that sushi. It's gonna be so good. Instead of like I'm starving, I'm hungry, I'm starving, and freezing too. So I'm trying to trick myself a little, know?
Yeah. Speaking of food, I don't know about you, but with all of these energies, and of course we're gonna talk for a few minutes about today's auspicious date. I find myself eating a lot and enjoying food more than ever. The senses are very heightened, and alongside with that comes everything that we enjoy with the five senses.
Yeah, the senses. Yeah, right? Eating the body, the primary stuff, right?
And so, I've been eating and enjoying what I eat deliciously. Thank God I haven't put on any weight on it yet.
Yeah.
So we have 111 today. And really, I put something up on my Facebook post. It's 2019. And whenever we see an 11, right, we leave it alone.
Right.
So it's really 111, 111.
Right.
You get that?
Right. Yeah.
Right? I know that sounds a little confusing, so I'm going to repeat that again. It's January 11th, so it's 111. And whenever there is an 11 in a sequence of numbers, we leave it alone. So it's 2019, 219, 11, and the 1. So it's triple ones.
Interesting. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Well, they let me know.
Yeah.
And so, of course, we always share our observation. There's never right or wrong. And of course, we'd love to hear what the numbers represent for you. But wow about triple ones. Immediately, what I saw this morning was completion and an exchange as above, so below.
The mirror.
The equilibrium coming together from above being held below.
I know where you're going with that.
Yeah. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So fruition, completion, on many different levels. So what we could take on the many levels is something has been solidified. Something that may have started on a subconscious cosmic level. You've reached fulfillment, solidification of it in the earth realm. And that's a big celebration, no matter what it is.
Absolutely. I think it's fair to say, too, how because we're all on different levels, maybe it's possible that perhaps some of the viewers or any of us might have had even I'll call it more physical or material. How do I put this? Like I had a client last night. Wonderful soul, male divine, it was really beautiful to connect with him. And we were talking about that, like where we're kind of going with this as well, or what we kind of talked about touching on with like emergence and stuff like that, and honoring the path. But sometimes if we're different pieces of our life, we have things come up to cause change in our life. It could be internal, but sometimes it's like physical, you know?
Yes.
Yes. For this person, it was an accident, you know, and he's made a lot of recovery and, you know, just sending him so much love. But that can be a part of it too. So if you're dealing with like something physical, you know what I mean? Yes. Or in the material realm, relationships,
crises, the loss of a career, job, you know, home, friendship, you know, all of that. Very transitional. And, you know, I agree with you. It could be impactful. It doesn't always have to be, you know, I said, you know.
No, I love that.
And yet we need to be expanded with that and know that completion may mean an initiation of going through a challenging threshold.
Yeah. And maybe you've kind of gotten to a place where you can reflect on it and extract. Look at my resurrection here, or look at what I've learned, or look at my body, or whatever, you know, what I've done in my relationships, how I've seen and witnessed myself. You know, right? It could just be in so many different directions depending on where we're at. But physical as well as cosmic and
absolutely. And you know, I'm a big advocate, I know you are too, of the fact that our greatest challenges are our greatest opportunities. And of course, you know, being sensitive as we even explore that, because it's not always easy, especially when we're in the midst of it.
Oh, yeah.
To recognize like, oh, yeah, there's a gift in this, there's an opportunity as you're struggling, as, you know, you're being impacted.
As you're getting tossed around.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, in that abyss of confusion, of anxiety, of hurt, you know. So we totally get that. And yet, lovingly, still take the stance that our greatest opportunities to unveil our strength, our courage, our perseverance, our soul is mostly when we're being pinned against the wall, you know, with some situation that is really gripping at us. You know,
you can't turn away from it. It's not like something, it's like something you're kind of forced to face, or forced, like you said, cornered. Like, and I agree that it's hard.
It is hard. It's not easy.
No.
You know, I was speaking to a beloved yesterday, and I found myself sharing this with them, and I put it in my pocket for today, you know, because what do we do, you know, and especially on a day like today, where surges of transition today, you know, what do we do when we're having an emotion? You know, what do we do with that period? Well, a lot of us do a lot of different things.
Yeah. What reaction does that cause? Right. Where do we take it?
And what I've observed in working with some people is that a lot of times we take an emotion and then we judge ourselves, especially if we're on a spiritual path, by the way, ironically.
If it's of a lower...
Oh, yeah. Like, why am I feeling this?
Right.
Oh, I shouldn't be feeling this. Or... I did the work, so why am I still here? And blah, 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 blah.
Right. I'm done. I want to be done. I'm done. Yeah.
You could really lose your equilibrium and your, you know, foundation just because you're judging what you're feeling. Well, guess what?
Instead of validating what you're feeling, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we look at 3 of the primary tools for which we experience life here, you will find that it is thought, that it is feelings, and it is emotions. And sometimes I share that, and when you
I'm sorry, when you say feelings, do you mean like intuition, like that kind of, like in terms of feelings versus emotions? Is that like a sense?
I'm just gonna say, some people immediately say like, wait a minute, isn't feelings and emotions the same?
No, like sense.
Not for me, because in the category of feelings, exactly. You may have a nudge, you may have an intuitive feeling, a premonition of something, a knowingness, right? But that doesn't mean that you act on anything. And emotion is where you allow the movement. You see the difference? And we can take that again.
Yeah.
A feeling is something that can be self-contained.
Okay.
Whereas an emotion is something that you release.
It's
that you
physical.
Cycle.
You're physically feeling an emotion, perhaps like anger. you feel it in your body. Right? Like it's more like that kind of thing.
The difference would be when we look is that in the feeling sense, you're still having the experience, but you're not necessarily allowing it to move, or you're not even acknowledging it. And this is deep, because wait a minute, how can I not be acknowledging it because I feel it?
Right.
Well, no, it's only when you take it to the emotional place where you're allowing it to move, you start to share it, you start to release it, whether it's through a ritual, pardon letters, right? Working with someone, and even being in the acceptance place is now an emotional movement.
Okay.
And there's a difference. How we could really amplify what I'm saying is exactly what I see all the time, which is when somebody doesn't work on issues and how it can manifest anxiety, insomnia, illness, discord.
Right.
And someone who is working on the issues, guess what? The first piece of work that I give them is, let's work on these. Let's release, be in the rawness of it. Let's acknowledge it. It's not about repressing or making believe that it's not there. And that's the point that I'm really trying to make. A feeling is something that we feel, and yet it's may not be acknowledged until we bring it into an emotional release.
I got you.
You got that?
Yeah, I got you. Right? I see it more as like the process. Like now it's kind of like how you're describing it. It's more of like a process than like a definition of what an emotion is. It's like the emotional releasing process.
We break up the emotion, the word emotion. It's energy and motion.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Energy and motion, and that again amplifies it. A feeling is just self-contained, where an emotion, now it's the river. You follow.
It's affecting you more process. In general too, as well. Like, so if you have an emotional flow going on, even if you're not like working on, even if it's just kind of like, I'm just going to use anger, like feeling anger. The way that like I work with emotions, like in my practice, it's more of like I agree with you. I totally see, but just so you can like see my I'm like like what? I see emotions as like a compass, right? Like to let us know whether we're on track or not, or to let us know we have something we still have to work on. Even if we're on track, maybe an emotion is coming up and it's like, you got to validate it. You got to experience, got to let it go, release it or whatever. But it's also something that, just like you said, your thoughts and your emotions are what create what I would call your vibe, how people feel about you, perhaps, like if I sat next to you, if I got like good feelings or bad feelings, or, like if I got anxious or if I got, you know what I mean? So that's just where it was like, Well,
that could be it as well. Because there's different levels of, but I love what you're saying, because in truth, our emotions do speak.
Yeah.
It does become our vibe. I would say, you can't fake it. You could try to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're going to tell.
Like if I'm having a bad day, I could come and say, blessings. Yeah. But it's not going to be that.
Right. Of course.
Right. 100%. Like, oh, wow, I felt it.
Yeah. Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, the different levels, but somehow I brought all of that up to lead to the authenticity of knowing that it's okay to be angry, to be frustrated, to be upset. And in actuality, it is in that moment where you have your greatest window to release and heal something. The key is not to remain there.
Right.
Right?
Right. Not to attach to it.
Or
like let it spin out of control. Like I feel like a good example that I'm thinking of, and I'd love your opinion, of course, but like relationships, right? Like it's really easy for us, I'll speak for myself, for like my partner to do something that annoys me, even though I'll say even more than annoys, like hurts me or makes me feel, you know, like he wasn't listening, so I'm not appreciated, or I'm not valued, or what am I talking for, or why do I have to tell you this so many times? It really bothers me, like that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I might get like mad, like where I'm like, him, you know, like in my head, like, what does he think? Blah, blah, blah. You know, and I'm ready to like duke it out. And then I'm like, wait a minute, checkmate. Like, that's actually not, he's amazing. He's a really good person. That's not the problem. Let me communicate how I feel and validate that without blame, you know? So like as an approach, like, this is why I feel this way. I'm not saying you did it on purpose, and I'm not saying you're a bad person, but I'm really upset about this and you need to hear it, right? Mm-hmm. Like, would you think that's like a healthy way to kind of like process something like that?
Absolutely. And everything in between that you just described is also very healthy, because if we've repetitively told someone, say, you know, that, you know, look, you know, this doesn't make me feel good. Well, I'm not justifying the fact that we could have a tantrum, but it can get exasperated. Yeah. And maybe the healthiest thing at that moment is to be real about it. You know, I had a moment like that this morning myself. Exactly that, you know, and with the partner, by the way, and repetitively, you know, so I could speak from experience and say like, no. And you know, where I went was, not today. Not on this auspicious day. You know? I almost felt like it was almost like
a test or something. Like
to deter me from where I was. You know, coming into the morning and stuff. And it was like, not today.
I think that's another beautiful way to handle it too, because it's like, this is what, like, break it down. This is what I'm feeling, or this is what I'm feeling. This is my thoughts. This is my emotional reaction that I'm experiencing. Like, I feel like emotions are an experience. Like, it's just a lot more physical, right? Or for the most part, I guess. And because like intuition feelings can be like, oh, I feel like a weird thing in my neck, or oh, I'm picking it up in my body too. But I feel like emotions are just like so, like, you know, like such an experience, right? But to like check in. Is this, what do I want to do with this? Like, what do I want to do? Do I want to let him have it right now and get myself all thrown out of whack and deal with that? Or am I going to be like, we'll talk about this later, or I'm going to have to get back to this later. And I think that's beautiful. Just that maturity. Can I say that? Like the maturity of it.
Yes. And you know, when, I don't do it as much anymore, but when I used to work with partners, couples, I used to give them exercise to do a pros and cons list, and how that plays a part in what we're talking about, and in today, and in emotions, and in everything. Really is, let's do a pros and cons. You know what? We're gonna find some pros. We're gonna find some cons, without a doubt. And once you do that, whether it's a relationship, a career, where you find yourself, we could do this with any situation. You're gonna see in front of you the weight. You follow the balance or the imbalance between the pros and the cons. At the end of the day, if you have all these pros, say in a relationship, and they leave the toilet bowl seat, the con is the toilet bowl seat, right? Is that going to be a deal breaker? Of course not, right? On the other side of that, you can have all these pros, and on the con, you can have physical abuse.
Right. Something that's just an automatic deal breaker. That is just like, you know what? That's a deal breaker. So we can use that simple exercise, because again, what it does is it brings things to a real state. You have to put words to it. Like, you have to think it out and make it a word. That's a like transcribing music, you know,
that interpretation, right? And how that works is, believe it or not, a lot of times we hone in, or we've created a pattern to just hone in on what's not working. Or on what annoys us, or on what we haven't achieved yet.
Right.
And when we're real, authentic, you know what? We have a map of, okay, like, why am I going still here? Because you know what? I see that a lot. I don't know about you, but I see a lot of people who are constantly trying to achieve the next thing. And while that's good, it's not good if you're bashing yourself over the head and judging yourself and not taking the moment to appreciate
everything,
what you've achieved.
Yeah.
Because now you're violating yourself.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say it.
You're not like creating foundations of awareness of the steps that you've taken, or even like the distance you've traveled, let's say, like as an individual.
Yes.
And that's gonna, when you have a bad day, when you have something and you haven't really reflected on like, no, this is me now. I've done, even like our relationship, like it's grown, and I feel like closer to you every time I see you, you know what I mean? And we're just like, like it's just so nice. And I can look and be like, wow, I had to heal the relationship with my mom in order to even be able to receive this like relationship, and I can honor that in myself. Example. You know what I mean? I love it too. But like stuff like that, and then if I wasn't honoring that, if I wasn't taking stock and like embodying that and like letting it like come into myself, that sounds gross, but you know what I mean? Then when I have a bad day, or when I watch a sad movie, or when something triggers me, I'm going to fall right back down to that dark hole of my mother never loved me and no one loves me and how could it, like kind of thing, So like you have to honor, what have I done? That's old me. That happened to me. That's not me. I created this, it's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful thing to do,
When we leave, I say if we leave we should always leave a trail, but not to reverse back, but to see how much we've grown.
Yeah.
And so again, these simple little tools like your pros and cons list and measuring how far you've come, and using that, as Loon said, it should be as a platform to get you to the next level, And listen, in between,
it's wobbly
have
sometimes.
Those shitty days, those shitty moments,
yeah,
those moments where we start to question whether it's worth it all, or blah, blah, blah. But again, remember the process. It's okay to have those moments.
Yeah.
It's more even important to acknowledge them as long as you don't stay there.
Right. I love it too in terms of like mystery teaching. I'm like so into Hermetic philosophy, and I feel like I can always draw everything back, and it's always the pendulum, the ebb and flow. When I like, even like money, right? Like if you have like a good week and you're like, ooh, I had a good week.
Yeah.
And then the next week is kind of slow or something, or you just see like a difference or whatever. Or I could take even like YouTube, like my AdSense, by the way, not astronomical, like not paying all the bills kind of thing. But overall, from the time I started my channel till now, it's been a fairly, like an increase. But along the way, it's like this. And I remember like that the true growth, or what I can see as true growth, as in it's not going to be, I won the lottery and now I'm bankrupt, or I met the man of my dreams and now someone else got it. You know what I mean? Like it's not like that.
Right.
It comes in kind of things, so having that bad day, I send it to the law of rhythm. When I catch myself in a down flow in whatever way, I'm like, whether I get sick or I'm just in a bad mood or I'm stressed or I'm confused, well, I'm feeding into the law of rhythm right now.
Love it.
And I'm going to step back even better.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah. Of course, you got into that place that I'm so, and I'm thinking of the beloved Thoth. And, when he goes into the dark spaces, and gets reprimanded, and it's like, well, wait a minute, how could he go into a dark place?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? Yes, we all do.
Right.
Why are we all of a sudden holding this big, like pedestal?
Yeah.
And saying like, oh, wait a minute, I don't know about Thoth or all the other deities, the Christ who had 40 days of temptation or whatever.
Yeah.
No, I mean, those are all either true accounts and or parables to teach us. I know Thoth did have the dark days, but so what?
I had my dark days.
Exactly, to illustrate. I love it when they talk about when, again, and I'm being very bold, but please remember that this is just sharing. Take what resonates. When we talk about the deities, deities of Egypt, say, oh my God, oh, right? Yes. Well, do we also remember, and I'm not judging them, I'm just creating the completing part of the whole story, that, Isis beheaded Horus. Osiris, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that there was wars going on, and I'm not saying that to judge that sacred timeline. I'm saying there were times of rhythm, right?
Absolutely.
And the pendulum was definitely moving from one extreme to the next.
Absolutely. It's so funny you bring that up too, because I was just watching some kind of, I don't remember the name. It's somebody I follow on YouTube. It kind of popped up in my, subscribe thing, and I watched a little bit of it. And it was basically like channeling Mary Magdalene. I'm so sorry I can't remember her name, but she's like writing a book, channeling Mary Magdalene. And she was like, Mary, what do you want me to tell the people? And she was like, tell them of my human story, because like we always have, like you said, this pedestal of like, oh, the Christ. Like it's like this, like out of like, how could we compare ourselves to that? How could we get to that level? It's like, no, they were freaking human too, or had. I'm saying human, but I mean like
the emotion.
Like the story,
the ebb and flow of, because we are light, and yet darkness is part of the completion. That completes the whole, and so to put it under scrutiny, or to judge it,
or to discredit it, or discount it, or write it out of the story. Yeah,
it's actually separation.
Yeah.
And then again, all within containment. It's not to say that, and again, I always have to emphasize this, that it's not giving justification to do horrific things and say, well, I'm dark, so I can do this.
Right.
No. Again, it's the moment, it's the allowing of it, it's
mastering it.
Exactly. The acknowledgement and the totality. And again, coming into the 111 is it is the reflection, and it's all beautiful. And what a gift it is today to have the highest of the realm of the absolute say, we're the same, and we've created that concretely into the ground, into the earth realm. And how do we know that? Well, you know what? Numbers are a language. We've discussed that in previous, shares, live streams, and you know what? It may not resonate with some of us and say like, they don't talk to me. Well, there's a sequence, there's an understanding, there's an awareness. And when we harmonize and open ourselves to it, wow. You know what? Yeah, it may not mean anything to anybody that is 111, but this avatar here is like, wow. I want to be open to that. I want to be receptive to that, because I want to be part of it.
I have to say though, too, to be a little devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You can look at the number and it speaks to you right away, but you have a gift that you hear communication, or you hear you're so in touch with your guides in such a clairaudient way. I know you get visuals, but you I see you as just like clairaudient, as like this like power force of like where I'm talking to you and you're like, yeah, like telling them to stop talking.
Right.
Like, I heard you, stop. But to other people who might not have like you, I'm just trying to say, like, you're just the avatar, right? So and there's other messages coming through to say, for example, there might be another 11 kind of day, but where you are, where we are, where the collective is, where we've all come to on this like earth realm, let's say, or just in spirituality or anything, it might speak to you differently than maybe if it was like 11 3 years from now or whatever, right? Like it's a different kind of activation, but still, I'm not using the right words. It's like drawing your attention, but you've also have guidance on like what the theme might be, or what you've experienced in your life that's like tying everything together. And you're like, oh, I see it. You know, like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yes. And there's channels that kind of whisper.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Because we're whispering to everybody else.
True,
Yes,
like
right?
that. Yeah.
And there it is, the continuity of the absolute, of the mystery teachings, of the reflection of one. I do. Yeah. But here we are.
Yeah.
Right.
And you see it in like the collective as well. Like you see other people talking about this who might have not even, like other accounts, like this YouTube channel I just was talking about tell my story as my human self, like, so you can see that there's this overlap, this like similarity of the theme, I guess is what I'm trying to share there.
You know what? There are some, I'm sure, that are born with all of this innate wisdom and connections and with gifts of audiency and sentency and
senses,
exactly and then there are some who develop it at a later time. There's all different levels, but what a beautiful gift. And I love to hear about the Magdalene book and the Ascended One who's creating it, because there it is. And there too lays the separation of saying like, oh, but they're gifted. Well, guess what? I'm here to tell you, she's here to join me in telling you that we're reflecting so that you can become triggered and so that you can become aware, because there is no such thing as they are.
Right.
We are all a reflection of one. And even though we express that in different ways, like, I don't know, all the crystals, and I don't have half the talents that this beautiful Pleiades has, but I compliment her, and we compliment each other, and and she hasn't written books yet, but she will, that you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what the true sense of unification is, that we're here to trigger you so that you can remember, because you are part of this. We are part of the absolute, and so yes, we can say, oh, I'm not gifted that way. I don't want to hear that, because you are gifted in some unique way. And the goal is not to mimic each other.
Right.
Because it's not. Your calling may be very unique. I'm very different, say, from Loon and I. Maybe you're a singer. I don't sing. I can't sing for anything. I chant, and that's pretty bad. Right? Could you sing? I mean, do you ever
not
sing?
Well,
right?
No.
I don't know how to play an instrument. The best I do is my rattle. Do you?
Not really. Not in
you
a
see what I'm
way,
getting
no.
at? There's some incredible musicians out there. There's some incredible painters. There's incredible cooks. Maybe your art is planting flowers. You see? So there is no such thing as I'm not gifted. What you need to do is to discover what your unique calling is, and then try to shine as much as you can.
And how do you find that? Just by what you enjoy the most, or what gets you like excited the most, I would say. Like when I talk about crystals and read about crystals and hold crystals, I'm like, like I'm such a nerdy, oh, this one, like as if they're like my little friends, and like, they have personality. I'm like, I know this doesn't look special, but like, I don't know, I love this one, like that kind of thing. And it's like, it gets me like excited. I can
you feel the
it.
energy, right? You feel the emergence, the emergence with that entity, with that life force.
Yeah. And you want more. Like it's because all of these skills and things are always under development. Like they're always advancing. Cooking, writing, you get better every time, right? Or you acquire more every time. So it's exciting to know that there's like this whole like sea you can swim in of crystals or oils or
and to know that and again, we don't box anything. Some people are born right out of the belly, like with this inside or what, but for the most part that is not the case. It's initiations, it's challenges, it's it's a lot. And then suddenly one day you start awakening. And even that is a process. And you need to, this is not about hurrying up and getting certification so that you can call yourself X, Y, and Z. No. At least not
No.
Right.
No.
But to embrace what you are becoming, and then to allow the teachings and whatever, of course, to almost like the glue, to kind of bring it all together.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely.
The glue. And it's necessary, but it's not like what this really is, this journey of, no, you need to be it.
Yeah.
And allow yourself to practice it
and represent it, kind of. Even just by holding it within you. Like, it's not like you have to go and talk about it to every single person you meet. You could if you want to, I guess. I don't know if I'd recommend it. But just in general, like the me becoming who I am and radiating from that place and being like, you know what? I thought that I was supposed to do it this way. Actually, I just have to honor that doesn't work for me, and I'm this kind of person, and like, let me take that in and like, like feel it and work with it that way,
Exactly. I'm having a teacher whisper in my ear for the last 5 minutes who would like acknowledgement, so I'm gonna acknowledge him and share a story of what we're talking about. Years ago, if somebody would have told me I was gonna do medium work, I would have been like, what? Like, no. Like, I've done with everything. Like,
yeah.
But that was like, no. And why? Because I had a lot of stigma with it. I had a stigma with it. And so I went around it, and I had an awareness, what we were talking about earlier, the feeling, the nudge, the this, but I just didn't want to know. Anyway, one fateful day, I walk into my office. You've heard this. And lo and behold, on my couch, who is sitting there in etheric form, of course, but Edgar Cayce.
I don't think I heard this story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no.
I thought I shared it in the apprenticeship.
Maybe I missed it.
Anyway, I ran out like a bandit from my office, and when I opened the door, I didn't really realize that it was an etheric form. I really thought it was a physical person. So I walk out of my office, and I see Honora was assisting me at the time. I said, like, who's in my office? Like, why don't you let me walk in there without telling me there's somebody in there? And she was like, no one. And I was like, no, there is a presence sitting in my office, And so she was, because that was my Honora. She was just like, well, get back in there.
Yeah.
Like, very monotone, Anyway, so I'm like, oh, like, who's this person? Like, obviously now I know it's an etheric being. I walk in there, and I'm, making believe he's not there. But, like, who's this person? Anyway, fast forward. I finally look. He immediately introduces himself as Edgar Cayce. And I'm like, I really didn't know much about him.
Yeah,
to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't either.
He was one of the greatest acclaimed and one of the first pioneers of psychic / medium work, and he did countless. He's, I think, in the Guinness World Records for the most readings that ever recorded during his time.
Was it like hypnosis kind of stuff?
Exactly.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think I have
put
heard
in a
of
trance.
it. Yeah.
And his, I don't know if it was his significant other or a secretary would take translation, but the validations were just off the charts. And so anyway, here he is, and he said, I am here to teach you. And I was like, teach me what? Like, I don't want to know, Anyway, he became my etheric teacher for about 2 or 3 years, and I honor him, and I owe him the ability to be able to do one of my greatest joys, which is the medium works, which you've recorded and been a witness to.
Yeah.
And oh my God, how transformative and healing those events are, right? But what I'm getting at is I didn't know. I didn't have this awareness.
Right.
I didn't have this gift. At the time when I was ready, the proper teacher showed up. In my case, it's always been etheric teachers to teach me, to prepare me. And even at that point, I had to be willing, So it's all about these steps. And of course, today, the reward of it, because,
the fulfillment.
Exactly, But the many steps, so I just wanted to share that because he's here. He wanted praise, and saying like, yeah, talk about me, we love him. to say that, that's a great, I guess, example of how we, hopefully, I hope it serves you, to the way we may develop. But I guess the biggest message is we're not all born with immediately with this, I'm this, I'm that.
Yeah. And you're right. You can have a feeling, and it's not, whether you're kind of rejecting it or you try and for some reason it just like doesn't work out,
and that's what I was saying exactly. So a feeling may not take it to validation,
right?
You see,
right?
Because I clearly did have the knowingness, but I just didn't want to be part of it,
right?
Or I was resisting.
You weren't ready.
It.
Something.
I was afraid of it. I was afraid, believe it or not. So again, this I hope is, for you guys, of the ridicule. And that's important because a lot of us do that.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was afraid of the backlash. Like, you speak to dead people. Who the hell do you think you are? I didn't want to deal with any of that.
Right.
Because I at the time had already experienced so much ridicule, being a healer, being and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't want to.
Right.
But looking back, wow, I'm so glad that they persisted, that my teacher persisted, and that my higher self showed up, because the rewards are amazing. So there it is. Sometimes we're working with someone, we may not like that a teacher tells us, do this, or you have to, we may not like it, and yet it's leading us to those amazing gifts, attributes that we have hidden inside of us. Or
the things we haven't faced yet that we need to heal to, probably, to like get us to that next level.
Right.
I know, like when I had a calling for Reiki, like I totally did. Like I was thinking about it a couple of times. I looked for a teacher, I'd send an email and like not hear an email back. It's like when you feel like you're looking for a teacher, sometimes it's hard because the teacher that you connect with, like especially physical form, because that's all I know really. You need to vibe. Like it doesn't, you don't have to be best friends. You don't have to be whatever, but like you need to have some kind of connection. And you've probably met in past lives. I wouldn't
Absolutely,
in a split second think otherwise. You know what I mean? And finally, when it was the right time, I reached out to my teacher. I found her right away. I had searched so much, and it was so easy to find her when it was like the right time kind of thing, and it just like all fell into place. So like different, but similar in terms of the calling was there. And then I'd be like, oh, it was too hard, or I didn't hear back, or whatever. And then kind of, your day fills up, you carry on with your life, and it's really easy to kind of, just let it go. And maybe it should have been let go, because obviously it happens at the right time and everything, but just so interesting. It's just like a really interesting dynamic.
I love that you shared that, because in many ways it is contracts that we've made with other beings to meet when at a time of readiness, when we're ready. And, we should, talking again about the feelings, honor it. Like I had somebody from a YouTube follower reach out to me the other day with, a lengthy message, and not quite in the position to be able to have sessions.
Yeah.
But if I tell you that when I read it, I felt what you're describing.
Yeah.
And I was compelled to answer back, and to start the
and you
dialogue.
Can't do that every time.
And I absolutely cannot do it.
You can't, yeah.
Yes. But there are those moments when you feel that click,
something,
that link.
Yeah.
And we should honor it, or at least explore it, when it shows up, because this was a safe proof plan. How's that? And I know it doesn't always feel that way, and we always don't experience it, and there's some brave, amazing souls who did not complete it that way. And we say, but how about this soul and that? Well, trust me when I tell you that if they've left this realm, they did accomplish what they came here to accomplish, because there is no such thing as failure, But for those who remain here, It may not always feel that way, but this is a safe proof plan. And that means that we pick the right soul families, the tribe, members. And those are the ones that, teach us, that support us. We picked everything,
it's
to have the best experience that we could possibly have. The only thing that could get in the way of that is our own free will.
The reactions that we're going to have a reaction no matter what, but it's like the emotion coming up, the frustration or whatever it was for you this morning. And then turning it into, okay, I could really dig into this now. Or like, is this the right, like, what am I going to do? Where am I spending my energy? Yes, I acknowledge I don't feel right about this. Yes, I acknowledge this is valid. But, from there, what's my choice? Am I going to let it paint me? Am I going to harp on and feel like I'm not supported at home and just like, like all this stuff? Or am I going to, deal, process, come back, communicate, hopefully as best as I can, and go from there. Like I know my partner, if it comes out blameful, he just shuts down, so I have to learn, or I have learned to be like, okay, this is why I yelled at you. This is why I told you that, like whatever is why I said that to you. I'm sorry I said that, but this is why it affects me so much. And it's not surface level, like something that like I get like so mad about is like the car being dirty, but like him giving someone a lift, and it's like, it's not that you give someone a lift. It's like the car is so gross right now. Like you guys went out, you got pizza in the back. Like, please don't let anyone in there. Like it humiliates me, like that kind of thing. Like it's so like trivial, but like it really bothers me, like deep in my core, like goes back to my childhood of like, like not having something or whatever. Just like, it's just me. But I have to learn to communicate that and not whatever. I was trying to talk about reactions and I'm sharing my like OCD about the car. But you know what I mean? Like it's your thing, right? It's like whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Well, I had the same sort of the same feeling this morning, when my partner and I he started like puking a little bit. I was like, no, always on a sacred day. You know what I mean? Like it's always on one of these days where I have to be on. You have a class tonight, right? We're doing EP to this morning. Like you're not doing this to me. Right?
Yeah.
And it's so good, this example, because you know what? That again, you're right. I'm gonna come in here. I can't do the show.
Yeah.
Freak the class tonight. I'm gonna cancel it. I'm just in a bad place.
Or you take it to like complaining about it, and like the whole show is just about. Well,
For me, a lot of times, Steve always says it. I write the best books when we're disconnected. I can write a book overnight when we're not good because I turn it. I'll cry and be and then all of a sudden it's like Kali shows up.
Yeah, like, what were you doing?
And it goes like 1,000 miles.
Sorry for yourself.
So I do the best creations actually when I'm in that place of almost feeling heard or whatever. It's like no, wait a minute. And it completely turns into something amazing. Yeah. And I love that because really that's what we should be able to, that's one of the most optimal choices.
Right.
When we can have our wooed moment and then redirect it to something powerful, something empowering, something delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love that. I was kind of thinking about that on my way here. Like when I was little, I've been very contemplating like the material and how I feel about the material and why I'm so drawn to create in the material. But I want it to come with this like background of not like, oh, I want money. Oh, I want this fancy for nothing. Like I want it to all come with like, what's the spiritual development or how am I serving other people? And like, like carry it forward to kind of transmute or like hold it in the light, but like I feel so material, like it's part of my purpose, like teaching people how to manifest or like whatever, right? And I was driving and I was like, wow, like since my childhood, doing that reflection, since my childhood, whenever I would get money, it would like burn a hole in my pocket when I was little. Like I couldn't wait to spend it as if like I had to spend it. And now, I'm a little like that, as in like I buy myself little things or whatever, but it's more of like directing it or doing it for like a purpose. And it just kind of came into this clarity of the transformation from like an immature way of creating in my reality or creating on the material plane, as in like, oh, I got to spend my money, versus where am I directing? What am I building? What am I doing? How am I helping others to do this as well, kind of thing. And it just really like, woo, you know, like really like clicked for me. Sorry, that didn't really have a point, I guess. But just like that acknowledgement of like seeing where you've come from and like how you're mastering different things and redirecting, and how I would get like, if I was home today by myself back then, like back when I was like, oh, I got to spend my money. Oh, I still have my Christmas gift card. I got to spend, you know, like I don't even know what I want. I just got to go to the mall, you know, like that kind of thing. Jersey girl, mall lover, you know, like that, whatever. And now it's like, oh, I want to create videos. I want to, and it turns into like a job instead of like, I'm sorry, it's like confusing, creating on the material plane in other ways. And it doesn't have to be because I have this like issue. Like this, like kind of like, it's a little destructive. Like it wasn't even satisfying, you know, it was like kind of, and it wasn't that I was like stacking up all these piles of shoes. It wasn't like that at all. I'm just talking about like little gift cards and stuff, but just in general, like the way I felt, you know?
I get everything you're saying, and I love what you're saying, because, and it deeply resonates, because as we become more expanded spiritually, we have to be a container for others. We cannot hold all of that, you know, immersing energy, you know, of that high caliber, and think that we're going to be able to house it only, you know, like keep it all to ourselves.
No.
And so one of the greatest ways to measure your growth, believe it or not, is when that yearning does start coming. It's an obligation. And it's so funny because I was having the similar thought when I was coming here.
I'm not surprised. We've been very
we've been very reflective of a lot. Saying, not in a bad way, but feeling, wow, today's 111. It's a must that we have to show up today. And for my part, I was feeling like, wow, not an obligation, but I have to, you know, like I have to give back, because
the abundance, the gifts,
and is that giving and receiving, right? Loon and I was sharing with Loon about, I feel that I've observed, and I'm living as a witness to one of the greatest energy surges right now is the giving and receiving, and being very receptive to receiving generosity, you know, abundance in whatever form that comes. You know, Loon had an amazing beloved who sent some beautiful, you know, pieces of jewelry, right? And also I got jewelry that's, you know, just on and on. And it's not about the material thing.
It's the expression of it. Yeah.
The receiving. And we need to be more than okay with that, you know, because, and well, not always. I know I haven't been, you know. You know, I almost lost the office because I don't honor alchemy, you know.
You do now.
I'm learning.
You weren't.
I'm learning.
On your level. And now you're getting.
I'm learning. And Luna's been instrumental in that. But we need to be more than okay with receiving, because we're worthy of it. And because the universe needs us in order to get to another level of complete unity on all levels of unification, to be okay with generosity and joy and having all the needs met and being gifted, adorned. You know, like when I was given this yesterday, I felt adorned. You know, and that's for tonight's class, adornment. Maybe I'll share it the next time. But and believe it or not, on the surface, it may sound like, oh yeah, give me everything, give me. But when we're in this place, it becomes hard.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful way of receiving and just honoring it, like honoring, like yes.
Right.
It's like I don't say it's a reward, but it's like an indication of like you're in the zone, you're in the vortex, you're doing it right, and these are these kind of gifts. And it's not to say that if you're in a backswing or in a state of like, oh, like I just had to pay all these bills at once, or oh, I just needed all my tires or whatever, where we feel the opposite.
Right.
You know, it's more of and to beat that, you know, to play with the law of rhythm, which we were talking about. If Blanca, let's say, just got a bunch of gifts, what did you do? Mm-hmm. You gave some away, you know, like, you know, like I had given her a few pendants that I was like, oh, I can't wear all these, like take what you like and give it on. And then you give it. And then it comes back to you again, you know, like that's how you work with law of rhythm. If you have, and you're getting a lot, make sure you send a little out. Don't like keep it all, you know, and that's how you can keep from the woo, you know, like the nauseating kind of up and down that can happen. But what I meant to say is like, just because we're in a backswing doesn't necessarily mean we're, you know, doing it wrong. But I would be so bold to say there's still something to work on. Then it's trying to get your attention.
It's still, trying to get your attention. Absolutely.
And it's trying to get your attention of like, oh, yes, you know, like.
Yes. It kind of reminds me, and I'm going to plug this in. And I hope it captures, because I feel it does, everything that we've talked about so far. Mm-hmm. You know, today's date. Wow, the leap. Quantum leap that we've taken as a collective, the blessings and celebrations that the higher realms are saying, like you did it, you know, you're there, take that next leap, you know, which is creation, your divinity, you know, embody it, and, you know, and all of this. And one of the other amazing validations were the mystery teachings themselves. You know, for 20 years plus, you know, I've been in little basements and, you know, having these little groups, and just because I was told that that's what I needed to do.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree. There's,
you know, like this is it, you know. And something kind of happened, which I'm going to share tonight, you know. But many things actually came to bring this to, oh my God, you know, I got permission to finally start releasing some of it. And that's where you and I were mimicking each other, because you were talking about doing lessons the other day. And I was being guided simultaneously to be putting a website together. And because I got so excited when they finally gave me like, okay, we want you to start releasing some of this, you know. Anyway, they let me to create a tier in Patreon where I'm doing offerings for the mystery teachings. And for me, it's not so much about saying like, yes, God bless.
It's a safeguard.
But it's more, yes.
I think it's a safeguard.
It is.
That's what it was. We were on the same page so much. Yeah,
I know.
And it hit me.
Because it still keeps it. Yeah. Do you see that? Yeah. Do you see that?
Yeah, I do.
And I can't tell you the beauty of the perfection, because I could have made it up. I could have not made it perfect. Because to me, like I said, it was a website what they were telling me, and it was there's another way.
Yeah.
Where those who are still going to be called and still going to keep it in a place of integrity are going to, and yet, yes, we're taking it to another platform of releasing.
It's accessible.
It's accessible.
But it's not, what we're sharing about, just in case like you haven't been whatever, it might have been a little confusing because we both got so excited.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I would say we're both of the mystery teachers. Like that's what we talk about. We talk about astral planes. We talk about initiations. We do initiations, all of this stuff. And while we have this huge desire to put it out there, there has to be, you know, YouTube, right? YouTube is amazing, but it's also a free-for-all. There's also trolls. There's also people who are going to misinterpret what you say just to misinterpret what you say or whatever. And having a separate place for more in-depth teachings while still accessible is so beautiful. You know, it's like it has so much more of a call to the old ways, but in a modern and adapted So
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to send a shout out to Teresa, who was the first one who signed up for the mystery teaching.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much for being one of the first frontiers to the deeper sharings, as Loon said, of the mystery teachings. And
I love that we both thought to do it at the same time. It was crazy.
Right. But crazy. That just right now we're forgetting that we're on YouTube live stream. But that just validates the complementary that you and I are, because that's been happening a lot. Where we're almost kind of getting the same, in different ways. We love it. Anyway, you can see that we're really crazy today.
Yeah, totally. It's good. Very buzzy.
Yes. Is there anything else that you would like to add to this beautiful 111 day?
Just to honor yourself, to reflect, to take some time. It's so funny. I actually, the night before, last night, put up a video about, it was called Reflect and Emerge, like had kind of a theme of like going into your little hermit cave to process, to pull your cards, to download, to whatever, and take stock of where have I come? How did I do that? And really acknowledge, like, yeah, we talk about completion. I think that can be confusing too. It's completion of a plane to grow upon. It's always ascension, like like that kind of thing. It's not like, oh, you're done. You're done. Oh yeah, you don't have to teach anymore. You're done. Like you're like, no, that's not it at all.
Right.
But just to honor, like, where have you come? It doesn't mean right now your bank account might be exploding. It might not mean that your relationships are like completely where they should be, but look what you've learned. Like, really take stock and honor that stuff in yourself, and like come out of that cave knowing you're different, knowing you can change things about yourself. Like, even from the external part of getting your, like, I've been trying to glow up a little. Like, I've been getting my nails done. I'm like, I tried eyelashes. It didn't work for me, but like, I'm investing in like myself more. Like, it's gentle, but like that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, I'm Lunanate, like, let me be that. And what I mean?
Love that. Yes, exactly. You are Lunanate.
Yeah,
and you are special and vibrant and luminous, all on your sacred self. And why not?
Right.
Especially if you're shining from that place of light, of loving yourself, of embracing yourself, and sharing that beauty of love for self with others.
Which can create that ripple to have others get to do that too. I hope that you're feeling that. I hope you can look in the mirror and just like, give yourself a high five, give yourself a hug.
Yeah.
Treat yourself to a little thing if you can, I have been, we talked about this before around Christmas and like getting yourself a little gift, but I do that too, where it's like, oh no, this is this ring. I just ordered like a topaz ring because of the initiation that we had. There was like this topaz calling. I'm like, I'm gonna wear my topaz ring, like, and I do that. It's not like, like
expensive
ring, but it's just like to honor,
we should all do it,
to adorn,
exactly. Adorning is such a it's almost like an unspoken reverence that we have, that we should possess. And then when we really start to put it into fruition here, it really starts defining our reverence for the sacred self.
Yeah.
And whether it's a sacred piece, whether it's a piece of clothing,
new eyeliner,
or new
like anything. Yeah.
It could even be a sacred bath,
oils,
right.
whatever.
It's just really saying, I love myself, I honor myself, I have reverence, and I deserve this. For me, it's taking times off, like little retreats. Like Steve and I are going like overnighter Sunday into Monday to the Catskills.
Yeah, just spending,
nice. Yeah. And why? Because it's important.
You have to tell me where you go.
Are you
bringing the dog?
We're not.
Okay.
We're actually, John is going to be home Monday. So
I need places I can bring my dog. That's like the tricky part.
I'm pretty sure he would be allowed.
Yeah. I'll ask you on Tuesday or something.
But for me, it's just taking an overnighter and just leaving. Like, it may sound like a runaway, and maybe it is, but
it's it's like the temporary isolation to reflect and then come out. Yeah,
and allowing myself, and this is almost like a mind game. To be Blanca, like, what is that? Because we don't have an on and off switch button.
Oh my God! Yeah.
But hopefully nobody's calling me. I'm not working on anybody's issues or, the next project, the next expo, the next healing session.
It's checking in.
Right.
Checking
but
in.
Just be myself. I like to touch everything and eat a lot, make love, whatever, and just be me, and that's important. It really is important because it says so much, and we refuel and fill the container so that then we can give it away, share
cycle it,
share
the flow, right? The more flow,
important, just like we're drinking this water. Well, we cannot end the live stream without saying, are we excited or what? Hope you guys got a chance to see our the beautiful
little ad
video ad that Loon
thank you. It took me so long.
Tasked over. It's beautiful, by the way. I love every minute.
It's so simple, but it took me so long.
Oh my God. And that's the thing, right? We can't imagine the time that goes behind these little projects, things, right? Yeah. But we are just, oh my God, what, under 2 months?
About 2 months, right?
2 months away from it's really now in that gearing mode.
Yeah, I ordered 3 bathing suits this weekend because I was
so I haven't even thought of that part.
Them. I don't have any. I don't really go and I'll wade, but I'm not like a swimmer really.
Oh my God, I haven't even thought about that. You see. But we're just about 2 months away, and we've had a lot of inquiries, and so I just want to take a moment to share for any of those who may be interested. Loon and I are just very free-spirited, and so while we have a synopsis, right, on a we have a visual and
there's a schedule, but it's not rigid.
We're just going to trust that the retreat is going to emerge exactly to what it needs to.
Yeah.
And so because I know I've gotten so what are you planning? And
well, there's a detailed, if you go to the website, there's a detail of what the themes are for each day and how we're handling. Right. But we want things to be surprising too. We have some little cutie things that we're pulling out and stuff. And powerful things too.
Right. What we do know is that it's going to be empowering, that there's going to be a lot of healing, and a lot of transformative energy. There's going to be some incredible shamanic work, and there's going to be
the balance, the cosmic and the earth. Right. We're both cosmic and earth, but when we're together, we play the shamanic role and the cosmic role because that's the
perfect balance.
Yeah.
And so if this is something that you've been thinking about, we do have a couple of spots left. But there's been a lot of movement with it over the last couple of days. Yeah. And so don't think about it. If this is something that's really calling out to you,
your heart.
Right. Come on and join us.
I agree. And if we are, there's some people, it's just I would love to, but there's just no way I could. Just don't feel bad about that either. Right. We're not sharing this to make anyone feel like they're missing the greatest opportunity that ever happened and it will never come up again. It's just we want to encourage the fact of when I think of anything that resonates and then I talk myself out of it or I say, I don't, I don't think that's a good sign for me to do, especially these kind of experiences, so just to kind of put that out there. It's not
absolutely, why hold the field and we'll hold it with you. And if it's not this one, this is just wetting our feet, Loon and I. We don't have another destination, but we've started to talk, because this is something that is a calling for us. And we need to step out of the office. Yeah. You and I. Yeah. Yeah. And so there'll be others coming along the pipeline.
Yeah, yes? Definitely.
Well, we have to go.
Yeah. I have a 1:00. Oh my
goodness. We love you. We're so appreciative of you. We send you amazing blessings on this 1-1-1-1 day. And until next time, thank you.
Next Friday.
Next week. We're sort of tuning it in to Fridays at about 11ish or so. So join us, and we're gonna eventually get to another level with this. But yes, leave you with our love, with our light, and with our peace. Have an amazing day. We love you.
Love you.
Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Oh, Camille,